welcome back to part 2 of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And unfortunately, between recording part 1 and part 2, we did miss out the cutscene where Death decides to be a giant douche and steal all of our equipment. So at present, we are wandering around with no equipment whatsoever, so we are completely naked. And if you jump through the bridge here, there is a heart max up. Which I'm quite lucky that I got on the first try. Since that jump can be a bit of a doozy to make sometimes. And in we go to the main castle. For some strange reason the music doesn't seem to want to play, but luckily on our first drop we've got a short sword. So now we can slice things, but not as well as we could before when we had the Alucard sword, which is awesome. And we get red rust as a lucky drop there. And here we have our first artifact, the Cube of Zoe, which allows items to materialise from candles. So as you can see, now we are getting heart drops. And off we go to our first real level, the Alchemy Laboratory. Fortunately, he helped us make a tricky jump there by knocking us backwards, which gets us a Hide Curious, which will boost our defense a bit. But we're supposed to press that button earlier. Annoyingly, the blood skeletons automatically revive after a few seconds. Up here, there's kind of a puzzle that you can use to skip a little bit out early, but you can only really activate it with the axe sub-weapon and a lot of luck. Since we don't have either of those right now, we're just going to play and ignore the lift. These axe knights don't have to dodge them strictly, you can just slash the flying axe out of the way, but it kind of looks cooler when you dodge properly. And wander back down here for the sake of the map, and to get ourselves a leather shield, which is going to come in quite useful for the first boss. And I think also boosts your defense as well. Up there is the section we can only really reach when we get the back power up later. And this game is riddled with hidden rooms. This one gets us a life max increase, which is nice. And there's another one right here, right now. And here we've collected our very first sub-weapon, which is the throwing daggers. And a resist thunder potion, which we're probably never going to use. In fact, if we save them up, we'll probably use them to gallop off later. This annoying little son of a bitch here is a spittlebone, and if you're unlucky enough to get touched by his spit, you will be poisoned. A little bit of a minor puzzle. Nice and easy one. Oops, that was a close one. fantastic. Capes increase your constitution stat, which enables you to be more resistant to poison, paralysis, curse, that sort of thing. And here we had another minor hang-up with the emulator, but everything seems to be going according to plan now. Unfortunately though, the music stopped. Don't. And here we're going to see the throwing daggers in action for the first time. Quite nice, rapid fire, about the same strength as a sword attack at the moment. So I can't really complain about that. I always found it strange that when you save your game, Alucard does a kind of Michael Jackson thriller pose. And you know, considering that he can moonwalk as well, just something to think about. Alright, now we've got a new sub-weapon, which is the axe. We're not going to jump down the other side, because we can't get through there at the moment, and if we peer down here, we are about to encounter our first boss, Gaibon and Slogra. Now, the axe is a really, really effective sub-weapon against these guys, and whenever you hit Slogra, Gaibon will pick them up. And the axe is pretty much the only aerial attack that we have right now. His red phase if you piss him off too much. And his fire attacks can be blocked with his shield. Slogra down and Gaibon down. All in all, a really easy first boss if you know what you're doing. And you get a free life buff. There's another hidden chamber up the top. We'll be able to go back there later again when we've got a better jump or when we have see it through the wall there. Teasing us. Since this door heads through to the next level, I think we're going to head back first and use the save point. Oh no, wait. This section will take us back down towards where we were earlier. This is where that lift would have taken us if we'd have managed to solve the puzzles using the axe and the blood skeletons. And on the way there, there's a pair of sunglasses. I think they're useful for raising your defense by a single point, but if you equip them, they lower your intelligence stat by 1. So it's kind of a trade-off of defense for intelligence. And since we're probably going to be using the sub-weapons a lot during this Let's Play, we're going to avoid equipping those. Since the damage that your sub-weapon does is determined by your intelligence stat. And the weapon Basilard that we've just picked up is a small knife, which isn't really very strong. It's got a lower attack stat than the sword we're using at the moment, but it does hit a lot faster. So you can kind of chain attacks better, but you know, it doesn't have as much reach. And with that save, that takes us up to the end of part 2. Join us next time!